The aliens gave to me while I was smoking mushrooms. All right, so when you do a technique, you come out and you do your techniques in your regular kata, what do? What did you just do after you did a technique in your kata?
I did a technique.
There you stop.
Show control, stop.
Show control, you stop.
Okay. And then I backed away, so do take it out.
All right. That's good for kata, but what we have to do is we have to go past that in actual situations. This kata is a randori no kata, where there is no stopping. Now, why is there no stopping? Because in a real fight, you can't stop. When we do the 17, we do shomiate, and he attacks, and I go tonka, tonka, bam. It ended right there, didn't it? Well, the problem with life is, it's like a kata is a story. When you do a kata, you're out here doing a story about a technique. Really, serious. I mean, you've got a start, a middle part, and you've got an ending, don't you? And the reality of most katas is the real important part happened somewhere in there before they fell. It's sort of like one of our students always used to say, a person asked him, what's the difference between judo or aikido and karate? And he'd say, well, everything ends with, and then you rip it off. That's the difference. Well, when you do kata, everything ends with, and then you fall, and then you rip it off, or you break it in half. Well, that's not the way real life works. Real life works where we mess up, don't we? I get ready to do shomiate, and I'm on the wrong, and that hand comes up and blocks it. That's real life right there. Well, what do we do next? Do we have an answer for this in our subconscious right now? See, that's the question you have to ask yourself. What happens after happily ever after? Whereas there is no happily ever after. You see, we're in a storybook society, and we believe that we see the ending of the movie and everything ends nicely. Unless it's a European movie and then everything ends and you say, what just happened? Okay. Here we go. First move. Simple move. We'll start real simple. So he grabs, and I do everything is based off the releases. Releases, walking, and 17. So 1, 2, bam. This right? Tell me what I do. Okay, this is right. He tells me if I have it right. All right. What can this arm do from here? Let's ask ourselves here. Right? He can push away or something like that. So is this right? Okay. Then I come down. Then I come around. He pulls back. Oh, that's not right. Okay. Come back around. That's not right. I thought you knew these. 1, 2, around. What happens? He pulls up. Bam. See what happens when he pulls up? So we start from the arm extended. He pulls up. We step in. All right. He pushes out. We come around. And we go to here. What can happen from here if he powers out? And believe me, there are coal miners in Alabama that can power out of this. So what happens? He picks up. I come around. Down. And here. Now he pulls out of this. What happens? In. And there. And that's the end of the first column. But what we did is we didn't stop. We did stop because I was talking. But you have to look at, you see, when a person jumps out in the street, if you're walking out in the street and you step off a curb and a car comes around the curb, and what do? What do most people do? Most people stop, stand, and watch the damn thing run over because they don't have anything up here in their subconscious to tell them what to do. If you've done martial arts, you do a forward roll out of the way. You, of course, is not going to do it. You didn't try to jump out there and grab your throat. But we have to have learned responses. We're not like animals that appear to have, that are born with responses, a learned response. We, for some reason, don't have them. So we have to learn it. So we have to put something into our subconscious as an answer. That's why people freeze up in bad situations, because when at the 2.5 pounds of stress, and you go and your subconscious goes, "Oh, I'm taking over now. You can go away, conscious mind." But there's nothing up there. And if there are no answers, we just stand there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to learn some answers to what happens if it's not there, if we absolutely mess up. Now, now this doesn't actually, we start from this grab. We doesn't have to start here. But we want to do that today. All right, so that's just the first release. I'm sorry. One, out, and down. He pulls back. Go right up again. So he pushes out, around, here, these are the easy ones. What? Yeah, these are the easiest. Actually, you know everything out here. I just did it, don't you? Yes. Grab your partner and let's just go through it real easy. The content itself answers questions, or it will answer questions. Okay. That's the first one. That's the second set. The second one is a push that starts with just the push through. I'm saying push through. And we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, going through. Bam. Okay, from here, we're going to go under and right to here. Bang, right. And the same dog and pony show again. And then 1. He pulls back. 2. Powers out. 3. Notice I'm not stopping moving either. That's the key. And that's where, see, when you do your 17, all the copies are important. But there comes a point in time when you have to learn this other legal principle called not stopping. And that's where the status copies that we do right now don't teach that. The 17 doesn't teach that. The sign copy doesn't teach that. None of the copies teach that. They all teach you to stop at the end of the movement. What does your subconscious do? It stops at the end of the movement. That's what you've got to get at. Because this one you will walk right in a hand right there. This is why this is a Rondorian kata as opposed to it's a freestyle moving kata. So on the push through, all right, this comes right off, bam, your John kata. See that John kata? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, bam, bam. Just let them push through, bam, go under, and there you are. Right here, right back where we started. Okay, let's do this. You want me to go? Are you ready?
Yeah, I just.
This one. We ready to go on? We're not going to go on the other side. We're just going to see this side. Okay. The next one is this push through, but it's going to step, and we're going to turn and take, what is this? Flotation. All right. Watch this again. He grabs, I step, pivot, and step through for my flotation right there. All right. What can he do from here? You pull that arm back, can't you? Bam. Bam, right there. Right into Ju Nana. See that again? From here, the only thing he can do is lift that arm up, isn't it? He can step around, but if he tries to step around, that's just Indian, see? So we're right this, so he pulls back. See how this hand just chunk. And I pivot, and I'm right here, right in Ju Nana. All right, he powers out of this. I step back with this foot, So I move my center back. I get my center of gravity in a better position. Now, as I come back around, and then when he pulls, I'm sorry, he can't touch it. And when he pulls back, sorry, isn't it? This is the stupid part. But see, this is a little rondori situation. The cute thing we used to do in rondori all the time, because what we do is we hand the arm off here, and we would be ready. So there's a lot of rondori tricks in this kata also that have never been taught in a usable manner, but this kata will. So you can take a lot of the rondori techniques from actually Ichi Nikata. So it's a step. Right here. See how the hand's already open? Bam, right here. Back. Alright, he powers out. Now, if I don't move back and I just try to do this, I'm going to be off balance. You see that? But if I step back and bring my center of gravity this way, out of his power, all I have to do is pivot, keep tension with his arm, and do Ju Nana. I mean, Sumi touch. And as he powers back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ride his strength. And instead of raising or anything like this, I'm going to keep my weight right here, on here. I'm going to ride all this strength. He powers out, pull, and keep the weight on that knee as he tries to pick up. Take you back this way. So, another thing you're going to learn to do is ride strength. I mean, seriously, by the time you get through this kata, you're just going to love somebody to use power. Because it's going to be fun. Because you're going to learn to ride. You're going to start treating that power just as a hard plank to stand on. And apply your weight. That's great. Because all of a sudden, it doesn't matter how strong they are, it's something you can jump on top of and use. Okay, so we're ready to do this.
I want to see the part of the piece.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay. From here to here. All right, now, see where my center of gravity is right here now? It's right here. All right, if I start my turn from this position right here without shifting my weight, see how his weight gets past my center of gravity? And I'm offset? Okay. So what I do is I shift my center of gravity back one step, just a half a step, set up. Because now I've got my center of gravity forward, don't I? Right. So I'm instead of being on the line, on his line, I've already shifted it this way. Now, the other great thing about this is if everything goes to health, all I have to do is drop down and do the real mitoshi. That's the other reason for this. Okay. There's my back door. So. But at this point in time, I'm forward against center of gravity, and I'm on balance. So as I make my turn, I'm already out here where I need to be perpendicular to his feet. That's why you do that shift back, so it sets you up for the perpendicular here, and it also really sets you up for more powerful mitoshi. And then once you've broken the posture, if he powers out, you're set up. Step into it. You don't change hands. Let's just do it.
That was a start out.
All right. That's what we're going to do. We're going to all do it together here. This outside, release, your hand. So you step out one, and walk right into Kota wash. See? Awesome. Everybody see the hand? Open the hand out. See how the hand's open? Hand here. Bam. Put them in wash. Take a nice little step in. Bam. He powers out. Walking guitar. This is the Yankees walking. See how both hands are here? I'm just extending out this way. Now, he pulls back. What can he do from here? He can pull back, can't he? If he tries to push me forward, which is not smart. We'll just continue with Wakikutami and break the arm, because he'll break his own arm for us. When he pulls back, bam, Kata gauge, Tomiki Kata gauge. Now he powers out of this and Kata near. Out. Big step off, out, open the hand, down. Right now. Back to the what if. What's this hand going to do right here? You can ask that question, and it's a good question because we got an answer. You already saw the answer earlier, didn't you? He swings at me, and we answer it with this kata. You see, if I'm here, I've got Kata Washi, he swings at me, bam. Where am I? I'm here now, aren't I? So, whatever he wants to do, we're right back here. I can start it here again, and take his reaction, and go right into this side. So the kata will answer the questions. Alright, so we're here, Kata Washi. Tanka. Bam, he powers, he pushes out, pivot, take a step right down the line. Grab the hand like this and push. He pulls back, feeds right into it, and Kata gauge and show me out together. He powers out. See, where can this hand go from here? The only place it can go is forward, isn't it? So if you miss this, out, hand off, back, and put in here. Ready? This is easy. Let's do it. Well, let's do it together. Here we go. Everything's going to change. You won't look at the key the same way. But you got to have your 17 and all the other katas defined in there. That's just period basic. Meat market, maybe. You know, the 17s are run during the fight. That's what it is. And I mean, that's the only kata I've ever seen. Well, they say you can't do it with document documents. I mean, you take the 17 just like you learn it here, you walk out the street and use it, it works. You can't do that in most katas. And that's because the 17 is a wrong door right out of kata. It's a freestyle kata. And this is this one. Okay, the next one, start off with pushing. And he pushes, tunka. Bam, out, come under, and this is where I learned to trade off hands this time. That's what we're learning this time. Because the reason we're learning this is because most of the time when people grab a hold of something, they won't let go. And in Aikido, it's very important not to grab onto something and hold on for your life because you will go down with the ship. So, in this, we're coming through, just like before, bam. I mean, the yarn kata, see how I take this, change out, and bam, I'm right here. And then he pushes out. Then actually moves to the side, pulls back, around, here, he pulls, back to the other side too. We're learning to hand off at this point in time. So push through, be strong, bam, go under, pushes out, pulls back, pushes out, hand off, pulls back, where he does. Except the hand off. What?
Do that hand off again.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Tunka. And I go under, and then like this. And I'm ready. One more time. Push through, and go through, and get in, down. Under, turn. other things right here. See, well, I'll show you. See, we're going to do this one right here. But the other thing is this is how you set up for tin tack coated here. Also, this is tin tack coated here. See, when you do tin tack coated area, you have to step into tin tack coated area to make it work, not pull it to you. I'll show you. You get that. So, down, under. Let's do it together the first time. Gravity on the road. When you step out here, you start spinning around with this thing going out here. What's happening? It's pulling you off balance. On your 5-pound bag of sugar. Okay. In this conflict, you just became feedback. Think about it. What I've been saying, don't let happen to you. You just became that feedback. Because, watch this. I'm going to be the feedback now. All right. First one, let's see. Let's do this. Yeah. Bam. Here's the feedback going around this arm. He pulls back. Feedback just hopping. He powers up. Here, that feedback just blew out around him. See? I became the feedback. I became that 100 pounds on the end of his arm. That's the insanity in this thing. So you just became what you shouldn't ever let happen. You became that feedback. So you figure you've got 100 pounds on the end of somebody's arm and they're jerking you around. What happens? What happens when you take a rope and you tie it around a 10-pound bag of flour and you start turning that thing around? You start swinging around. What happens? That weight pulls you out, doesn't it? That's when you can, it's like, I don't know if you've ever done it, just walk in somewhere and throw a 5-pound bag of sugar at somebody and watch them catch it. Watch that happen. You have to be a deviant some business. But you know, it's called experimentation. It'll knock them off balance. It'll knock them over. Just like, boom, catch. You know, football and basketball is one thing. They don't weigh 5 pounds of solid mass. You take a 5-pound bag of sugar and you go, catch, and throw it at them, it'll knock them over. So, we have to look at practical principles. That's the only way I can do things because I'm an idiot. So, I have to look at everything practical. and look at it from the bubble point of view, you might say. This is like a redneck key now. Oh, God.
I tell it to be
redneck. So we got to explain it in terms we got around the farm there. You know, 50-pound bag of feed. Heavens, who's ever unloaded a 50-pound bag of feed? They don't make them anymore. They used to, right? When you unload a 50-pound bag of feed off of the truck, what do you have to do? When you're unloading a truckload of 50-pound horse feed, and you've got it, when that guy throws it off that truck at you, what do you have to do? You've got to get up underneath it, and yeah, you've got to get it balanced, your center of gravity right under it and everything, don't you? If it's off just a little bit, what happens? You're down, that's right. So everybody pretty much understands 50-pound bag of horse feed and what it can do to you. That's why they don't make them anymore. They're 25 pounds now. Because people can handle 25 pounds a little bit better, but it'll still knock them off balance. I know about these things. That's what this concept's based on. It's 50-pound bag of horse feed. Okay. So you're really doing what you should. What I tell people not to do. You just became that 50-pound bag of horse feed out there in somebody's arm. So the last one of this set is the same thing. Here, but you're going to go one hand off. This is the tricky one here. And guess where we are? handoff's a great thing. I love it. This is Ron Dory's handoff to hell. Because this is how we always used to get you. This is how Carl always used to get you. And you go, hey, get out there. I can see Mr. Tyson. It's like, he was like, almost just like, bam, it's here. It's like, look. Well, this is what this guy teaches how to sneak around there. So he pushes, you bring it right down here, just like your regular release. Only when you get right here, you pivot and hand off to right here and step back. And you're ready for you to take the next step. and you've got high potion. But what this really teaches is that when you pop off here, so you can just as well do sure I don't have my board up, but that ends it too fast. Sure, I'll tell you, we'll end it. We don't want to end it. So we want to continue this. At any given point in time doing all these, you can just anytime you get behind somebody, you can do a sure eye. But that's an end. We don't want to end it yet. We want to make it go through all these cycles here. So tonka tonka tonka. And then I'll bounce. He pulls back. All right. What can he do? He can pull that arm up, can he? So we come up this way again. And we've got sheer now you can actually we almost got to take that pretty bad here. But still he powers out. Take that step back, bam. And then he pulls back. That's it. So see the hand off again. So tonka tonka. One. This hand comes over. Gently peels it off. And then take this. Just like you're going to do this. Just like you're going to do this. Only halfway through you're going to stop. You're going to go. And this hand's just going to come across. See how the hand is right to it. And then step forward. Actually, you're not stepping forward. You're going to step with that foot. Right off that perpendicular right there. And you're going to pop it back. This perpendicular right here. Then he powers out. Go to this perpendicular right here. And then he powers back. So attacking perpendicular step. Always attack perpendicular. You can't go wrong. Because it's just sort of like, where do you break the arm at? Well, you always make sure that little point's up. Because there's nothing under here. If you do it here, then you're going to get away. But if you make sure that point's up, there's nothing under here to stop you from breaking the arm. You notice that? It's just there. There's muscle on this side, muscle on this side. It's just ready for setting. It works. It's one of those things you always aim for. Feedbags and bars. Well, do we remember what we did yesterday?
That was yesterday?
Yeah. Some people missed that class because they were out doing things.
What did we do after yesterday?
Some people were on dates.
Young.
Drinking. Drinking and eating is acceptable. Okay. We'll start with the first set. Now, this is one of the you can sit down real quick because I'm going to go through the bride so we remember what's happening.
Are you taking it?
Yes, we
And I will not look at the camera.
Okay, you're looking at the camera's direction, right?
Actually, I've decided that when I do these things, I want a black hood on.
I thought it was a pink. I thought it was a pink bunny
Pink.
suit.
Well, that is going to be my next gi, official gi is the pink bunny suit with a black hood. Okay. This is a Randori Kata that I received in a vision from the great god Kabora. While
meditating under the waterfall?
while meditating at the porcelain altar. It was given to me by aliens. And this is the alien.
What are they legal?
That's
Yeah,
right.
we're illegally.
When I was abducted several years ago and subsequently returned, actually I was gone for 25 years, but because of space-time continuum, I came back actually probably an hour later. And, but while I was on the planet Gorignaut, I learned this time. And it's a secret alien contact. And actually that's where this is where he this is where he learned Aikido. All great yeshiva masters have been abducted by aliens and taken away. And taught Aikido. So this is all I'm taking.
Realization
This, this should be sent out. Very right. Is it something?
We've got several of his little candidates on tape. Like the time you took the belts and made the symbol on the floor, sparkly, you remember?
Well, that was from the aliens.
I know.
That's
He's making Aikido circles?
Aikido circles.
Yes, he
Okay.
did. He did.
Okay.
Did you name a rail?
Huh?
Did you name rail? Do you support clothing?
Okay, so all of this kata is all based on your walking, your releases, and your 17. And they all will start out from a release. Just right down the line like your release is running. In the first, we're going to start the second set of 3 sets because I want to do it. I'm going to do this set first. So, but you know everything that I'm getting ready to do already. Oh, should we bow? Let's do that so it looks good. Okay. So he grabs here, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, arm bar. Now, notice how I'm moving around continually, and now Brian pulls back. And what happens here? We go into Hiki Toshi. Is that right? And then he pushes out, and we move around, and he falls into good gauge. And then he pushes out, and we move around, and he falls into, what's this? Number 8. Hiki Toshi. And then he pulls back, and we step into number 9.
Let's go over here.
Okay. So, we're doing
Cue cards.
All right. Cue cards. Oshi ta oshi. Urigai ish. Hiki ta oshi. And then uri hineri right down the line in the second set. Now, why don't we do wakigatami? We'll do that next. That's the next.
Because he falls down.
Well, now the other thing that's not there that you won't see in this kata is Ushiro Ate, because Ushiro Ate ends it too fast. Now, the premise of this is what happens when you do your 17. When you get up and you do your 17, what happens?
One doesn't work to do it.
No. Well, I'm looking for a specific answer.
There's a terminal point.
There's a terminal point, isn't there? Thank you. That's a great way to describe it. I didn't know that. I didn't think of that word. But that's a better word. So, you have a terminal point. If I do number 1, show me ate, he tunka, 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 bam, Brian falls down, doesn't he? What do? I stand here and wait for him to get back up, and then we go again. Well, guess what? In real life, you'll do that when when trouble happens. If somebody jumps you, you may have that tendency to do that and not actually flow into another technique if it messes up. Did that make sense?
You mean stand there after you knock the guy down and look at him like,
That's right.
come on, get up, Mom, give me some more.
And the problem with that is there's so much out there to explore when somebody jumps you. I mean, we should look at this like somebody jumping us being an adventure. This should be looked at like, oh yeah, this is going to be fun, because it is going to be fun sometimes. So the thing about this kata, if you'll notice, we put in mistakes. So I've got Brian right here. You know, if you were doing your 17, it would end, wouldn't it? Like this, wouldn't it? But it's not going to, because we're going to allow Brian to give us the only reaction that he could possibly give us, which, now, he could step forward and push out. That's fine, but that would end it too, because he would push himself down. So we're going to allow Brian to use strength and just jerk back, and we're going to go, oh, okay, that's right there, isn't it? We're exploring the different avenues of making mistakes. And Brian's going to push out again. Whoa, yes. Oh, look, he walked right into that. And now coal miners can do this. Big guys that work with steel and coal miners, if you don't get this just right, they can actually just power right out of this. If you're in a hurry, and you know how it is when you get in a fight and in your mind is doing weird things, and not everything is absolutely 100% accuracy, and you get down to that about 25% accuracy level, and everything starts messing up, and you're going and you lose. The worst part is when you get to that point and you just start gibberating and you don't know what to do next. Well, this takes care of it, because we're not going to let you have to worry about it. Because from here, if I've got him here and he powers out, and I ride this strength down to here, bam, I'm right here. Now, let's say he pulls out of this, which is great. You go into here. So we're going to give you a bunch of answers. There are lots of mistakes that you can possibly make. And the great thing about Aikido and Judo, which is probably the most important thing about the art form, one of the most important things, is they give you back doors. Because we realize that no system is absolutely perfect. We know that because of human nature, and we're not perfect, sort of. So we know that when we get into a fight situation, we're going to make mistakes. And just because we think we're going to go and do that throw doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work, does it? So we're giving you an answer to what happens now if you absolutely just totally mess up in a bad situation. Okay? So get your ass up. Let's get ahead and start doing this. Most of the time you go through a lot of extra moves to set up the parameters for that kata. Because remember, a kata is basically a story. It's a novel, sometimes. But each technique is a little chapter in that book. So each technique has to have a setup sequence for the storyline and all that stuff, and then the building, the climax, and then the ending. All right, in this kata, the storyline and everything is already going. You don't have to worry about setting things up, because it's set up here. Uke's set up. When he pulls back, bam, you just walk right into it. When he pushes down, bam, you just move around, float, powers out. You've got all the preceding activities that have already occurred. So you don't worry about that. Because the minute this occurred right here, it went into play. This is your beginning storyline. This is all the leading up to it. Then the first trouble scene occurs. Oh, okay, I'm here. And then we end that one by coming down here. But he pulls back and he does something evil. And when we've got this, then he powers out and does something evil again. And then we do this. And then he powers out of that and the happy ending. Does that make sense? Oh, it is.
Gee, you're next talking.
And all on tape.
You know they'll probably lock my ass away for this.
Lord
Okay.
of the Circles instead of Lord of the Rings.
Dizziness. Okay. Let's do it again, okay? Do it some more. All right. Like I said, now we added a couple for the first set of releases, just to add some little rondori concepts and also. So next one is just a straight push through. Tunka, 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 tunka. Bam, like a Yan Kata. He gets out at the end, he turns, we go back under, and bam, we're right here again. And thus we do the same routine. Around, back. Now notice how I'm moving around all the time, I'm not stopping. It's key element right here. And we're not even going to go into that principle yet until you've done it for about an hour. And you realize what you've been doing. But step, goes through, bam, hits the end, then you just go under. And it's already there.
You need a transfer. No, you need a tutu.
You need to transfer with the tutu.
A bunny rabbit, pink bunny rabbit suit with a white tutu
There you go.
and a blackjack.
Ballet bunny.
Ballet bunny.
And occasionally
Ballet bunny Aikido. From redneck Aikido to ballet bunny Aikido. Okay. Does everybody see that?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
Is it harder if you're attacked by a bunny to break the balance with your tail?
Aim for the tail. What I always do. Okay.
Don't excommunicate.
The other thing that we need to start looking at now is the perpendicular. All the attacks are going to be down the perpendicular when we do these techniques. When we start popping things around. See, at this point in time when Brian's here, see, in the first one when Brian comes around, and he comes up, bam, I'm attacking this perpendicular right here. That's where I'm moving it. When he pushes down, I'm moving around, and here's the perpendicular I'm attacking here. When he powers out, I'm moving around, and bam, there's my perpendicular. And when he pulls back, of course, there's my perpendicular again. So we're always attacking perpendicular to the line of force, perpendicular to the line of the feet. Okay, so the next one is the push through again with a little bit different wrinkle on it. So he's going to push, and I'm going to step and pivot, and I'm going right into my touch. This is a cute little rondori. So from here, then Brian pulls back, and this hand goes right up, and I come up here, and I slide right into Ju Nana. Then Brian powers out, and I come up. Now, when I'm coming up, I'm pushing this arm up too, and I take a little step back to shift my center of gravity in front of his. And the reason for this, if you're in judo, and when you do osotogari, where should your center of gravity be? Very knocks in judo. If you're doing osotogari, and you're out here trying to take that leg, and your center of gravity is in front of him, what happens when you get this leg up and you're trying to pull him back? Yeah, he just lays you out, doesn't he? So you've got to have your center of gravity either on his or behind it slightly to take him down. Same difference with here. If I'm in Shinagi and I'm doing all this turning, and I don't shift my center of gravity in front of him to where I've got a stable base in front of him, but as I come down, he will throw me down. But because I take this slight little step back here, I've got my center of gravity in front of me where I want it, then I can make my turn, slide into Sumi-Toshi. Not Hikki-Toshi, I'm sorry. Then, as he pulls back, we don't let up because this foot, the weight is on this foot now. So when he jerks back, we keep that weight on that foot and just take a Tsugayashi step and take him down. Now we're going to also learn this cute little concept of riding the string. riding their strength. Because this is one of the few times you really want the person to be strong. Because their energy is going to be what determines how bad the technique occurs on. The amount of energy they give you. So if you've got somebody just using, well, and let me ask you this. And I said all this just because I can. When you do randori, hand randori with someone, and it starts turning into energy, they start turning into strength, and it starts turning into a strength type situation, what happens to them? What happens with your randori?
Comes into fist fight.
Goes to shit, doesn't it? Because you don't know what to do. Because you're taught not to use strength, but you don't know what to do when somebody does use strength. Well, this is the answer. Because if he powers in, if Ron powers in, just like Ron's a 300-pound giant now. See that?
Yeah, I see it.
Conan, yeah, we need the Conan music.
I brought the soundtrack.
Alright.
Put it on.
You got brownie points.
Put it on. We're on film. Put it on. I bet we could do Aikido better to the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would be
Because
like
you
beating the
ballerina
drums
was
on
the
in
bunny.
the galley.
Oh no, go get it. It's like, let's do it. We're in-
Barbarian bunnies.
okay, we'll put that on a minute. Anyway, if Brian
Barbarian
just
bunnies.
what? Barbarian bunnies.
They're tutus.
Okay. All right. If Brian just latches into me and just grabs, God, this is horrible. Yeah, this is it, baby. Yeah, baby.
No, let's play it during the workout. That way we can hear what you're saying on
Okay.
the video camera.
Okay.
We'll get in.
Just a minute. Okay. So when Brian latches into my arm and powers down, what's happening here? All right. I can't do it. I can't go up, can I? Yeah, I can. So I step. So what's the rule? Step forward, let it go down, bam. And I just took all that energy right here. Now, that wasn't enough to do it though. So Brian just jerks up. We just jumped on that right there. So he powers out of this, step back, bam, right into here. And then he jerks out of that. Oh yeah, baby. And you're here. Each time, it was the energy that Brian exerted is what directed you in the direction to go and gave you the necessary energy to just blast him. It's all based on Uki's response, which is what it really is, isn't it? Isn't this the gentle way or something like that? Aikido and Judo. Well, truth of the matter is, these same principles work for Judo also, as you'll learn today.
Barbarian bunnies.
Okay.
Get a sword.
Rip his arm off and beat him with it. Thank you. That was good.
Feel better?
I do. Okay. There's not too much difference in this again, except you're going pivot, pivot. Arm comes up, pivot, step to Shionagi. He pulls out. Now push up and step back. Now, if this doesn't work, if something, for some reason, you lose your balance, you just pull it down into the real wakikitami. Shirate. I mean, what am I talking about?
What is a jiggy?
No, the real, God have mercy, my brain's
Number 10.
The real, Uda Hinari.
Oh.
Huh? Just break his arm.
See, Uda Hinari is really bam, bam, bam. That's Uda Hinari. But you can't practice that and people survive. So you go bam, bam, bam. my toast.
Okay. One of those things. Break his arm.
Anyway, my toast. I'm sorry. Where's my? It's like the board's too far away. Okay. So, are we ready to do this? Let's get up. Let's get a good part. We'll do it at a count first. So, are we ready? All right. So he grabs mirror hand. We step off. Now, open the hand up on this. Open the hand up. Slide off. The hand drapes. This hand comes up. And right down, straight down the line for a wash. All right. Once again, we're dealing with a massive coal miner that has arms as large as your leg. So he powers out, pushes. Where? Right. Let's ask this: where can his arm go from here? Power down. He can go straight forward from here. So if he pushes out, where do we go? We go right down that arm, pivot. Now notice, I'm pivoting. And I'm stepping straight down the perpendicular in the Wakatata. This is the Yaki's way. Notice these hands are around here. I'm pushing out this way. My feet are pointing this way, not like this, but like this. And I'm moving this way. Because what can he do now? He can push this way, can't he? Which is going to destroy it. Or he can pull back, can't he? He pulls back. See how the hands are already here? This feeds right into Kotagaish. See how I pivoted, I'm turned, same hand, same foot. This hand's up here for the Tobiki Kotagaish. Bam, we've got him here. What does he do to get out of Kotagaish? The only way he can go is push out if he's strong, right? So this hand's already here for Shomiate. So one, it feeds right into here. I step back, extend the arm. See how I took that little step? And now we have a perfect Kota Hineri. And in. Make sense? Now, the cute thing about this Kota Hineri is that when he powers out, see how it feeds right to here? At this feeding point, you step back. See how he shifted back too? When he makes that shift and steps into this arm right here, you've got your power here. So you're going to aim right down this way, down the perpendicular. Make good sense? Okay.
Sensei.
So, yes, sir.
When you're at the Kotagaishi / Shomanata,
yes, sir.
Can't he continue to curl backwards?
Yes, sir, he can.
Because I know that a lot of karate folks teach how do you get out of that Kotagaishi is you turn and sit.
Okay.
So if in this posture, he can possibly run away from your hand, turning.
Yes, sir, he can. And that goes to this, does Wakatata. Ushiro-ate, which ends it also. And we'll get into this as we progress here. See, I don't put Ushiro-ate, is that Ushiro?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't put Ushiro-ate in the techniques because it's a given. But what we are going to learn to do, and which will make it easier for you, is we're learning to trade hands in this also. You notice that? Mm-hmm. You're changing hands up all the time. So when he turns, if he turns on you, you're learning to trade hands from this right here. You see that? So if he absolutely turns, you trade. Yes, perfect. And you've got Ushiro-ate or Hadakuchime or anything you want. But I don't put Ushiro-ate in these just because Ushiro-ate will end the techniques. Well, it's an ender, so I can't keep a smooth flow going because he can't recover from this.
Okay. Mother of all techniques.
Well, it is, and the problem is and we've seen it happen too many times that they bust their head wide open, and it's pretty much an ending technique for a person that does not do judo or does not do aikido. Karate people, regular street people, they don't understand about tucking that chin, and their head goes and it busts wide open. So, and we know that. We know that from experience. So.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. So. You got it right? My brain's gone. I'm sorry. So I'm stepping out, open hand, and right here. Now, there's this perpendicular. I'm going to aim right down this line right here. And I'm going to step in. Bam. Now he's going to power out. I'm going to pivot. Take a step straight down the line. Right. Then he's going to pull back, and I'm just going to feed this hand to this hand and slide right into Kotegaeshi and Shomiata. He's going to power out. I'm going to feed this hand to here. And then as the minute this hand touches, I'm going to step back. And when he steps, see how when I step back, I take his power, he has to take that little recovery step. When he takes that recovery step, he hits this hand right here. And that sets up the Kota Hinari action on the arms, which let's get into. Let's try.
Looks like you know it anyway. Wait, here, let me attack you.
Whenever I have a class, I demonstrate make fresh batch. It's not that important stuff.
I'm not doing all of them.
This is plain old gold. Because this is absolutely this. Hey, I'm sitting going, oh look, that's good.
You know this.
Yeah.
You know. And this is just a baseline. This is a baseline. After everybody does
You're always attaching the perpendicular.
You can almost invent your own whenever.
She pulls out of that.
I think that's what it was. We can demonstrate that. Well, you can even get it.
Yeah, there's very few people. I mean, I'm watching the tapes. I mean, we sat down there after the clinic. Everybody had our notes. Me, Kim, and Randy, and I think somebody. We all sat down after the clinic with all our own individual notes, and we all had written down something. And so we were trying to write it down. We were trying to write it, step by step after the clinic. And then ultimately, what ended up selling me off of it, I had Kim and Randy who were both really into it. And Kim was asking me to do a couple more clinics, and Randy did one. I put him out there with time. Thank you so much. It's like Randy just takes it. So I said, okay, Kim, you finish up here. She just tracked. I was like, the whole water system doesn't work if somebody's not grabbing it. I mean, the whole thing is based off of I'm on just somehow or another by See, Narayama's system is on that too. He has this whole thing of this whole new kata that he invented. I don't know if you saw that tape that Narayama used to do out of Zuka. And his whole thing is based off of one or two release motions and coordinate as well. So maybe that's just a natural progression that Aikido is making, but Narayama is trashing the 17. He said you don't need to do that too. You just need to do this his kata and the follow. So you get rid of the 17 out of JA.
Excuse me. So what are the, are there lunch plans or independent plans?
There should be a lunch break. I have to go to church at 11:30.
About the release is about what Dennis Dorsch used to call as counting time. And when you do the outside release, you step and allow this person to take that step and move and do your technique. That's what we call, when I step off the line, bam, see I'm counting time, bam, right there. And that's how the technique occurs. So in this little stupid kata, you're doing the same thing with the kota bawash. You're stepping off the time and let, bam, see how that foot just kept stepped in there and did it all? Sorry, I'm going the wrong way. Off, bam, that's what does it right there. That step going into there allows me to take his body drop with that weight going into what I've set up here to apply the pressure to his arm. Does that make good sense? Okay. So, I made a lot of step did it all? All right, high. All right, now we've got kata concepts and kata principles, and you've got randori principles and randori concepts. It's sort of like, what is it? They call it battle tested maneuvers or whatever. What did they call it in the Hunt for Red October when he charged into the torpedo?
Suicide?
Battle tactics. Battle tactics.
Yeah, battle tactics. Well, let's look at the randori like battle tactics, because what we do is we have a situation where this person is already giving us the setup for the kata move. It's just there. So we're allowing, when we step off the line and he has to move, that step, that weight drop right there is what really takes it. Bam, that sets up this Kota Mawash. Not me. He does. Because it's like one of the important things in life is to always know what weight the foot's on. Because when he takes that step, the weight's on that foot, isn't it? So I know that that foot has to step. So the weight's going to transfer to here. So I know that at this point in time when that weight drops and his body moves into my hand, that's an unbendable arm, from this position, this wrist is going to fall right into Kota Mawash. And his weight falling into this setup is what's going to cause the Kota Mawash to occur, not me. You have to do that with excessively strong people. It's just like, you can't make them fall. They have to fall for you. And they'll do that if they take a step, see? Does that make pretty good sense about that? So you're not doing, I don't know how you do your 17, I mean how you do your releases, but this release is out and around here. See how I'm stepping all the way around him, moving around this point? Right there, around that perpendicular, see? And that's what I said, remember, we're always attacking the perpendicular. All right, so when he pushes out, see where that line is? Bang. We're attacking right down that line because that's the way he went. But I'm also using the energy from this arm to direct me also, because he's going this way. Well, sure, I could go this way, but that's not down the perpendicular though, is it? The line of the feet. So I'm going to just go ahead and take this arm right down the perpendicular. And when he powers back, we go right down that perpendicular again. Then I'm going to throw Show Miyate in there because it's so wonderful. And what's going to happen, there's several reasons this is here, because if he decides to hit me at this point in time, this arm's already up here, and I can change positions and go into another technique that you'll learn later on, another sequence that you're going to learn later. And what happens is that I step around the Tenkai Kota in area and go from that sequence. Or he can pop me again, which is great, and I just step right back into the same thing again. At any given moment, at any given time during this sequence, he can go down. It just depends on how long you want to play with it. You see, it's like, and the best way to do hand randori is never to go for the technique. You never go for a technique in hand randori. You always just go for the off balance. And if you really want to do hand randori, you see how many off balances you can make this person go to before they fall. You see, because if I can make him dance around and just go from off balance to off balance at any given point in time, I can allow him to fall, can't I? I'm not a control freak or anything like that, but it is sort of fun to do that, which is sort of a sadistic thing that Harry Wright does, but I don't do it because I'm not Harry Wright. So, does that sort of explain that? The going into the Kota Mawash and things like that. The other thing about the Kota Mawash is that it's not your classical Kota Mawash either. It's a randori Kota Mawash. It's a faster little Kota Mawash. It comes off the release and pops right into it. You don't make it happen. You open that hand up and see, my step allows it to occur. See where I'm at? Then all I have to do is bring this hand up, which is what was the old rule about both hands being here? Why was that? Remember when you first started learning this? it was down here and you thought it was cover your groin area, keep it up here so this hand will be ready when this hand comes across. Trade off. See, short ates here all the time. And once you start understanding and learning to move your ass around the point, the center of gravity, it's like you'll just be dancing all around this person. You'll see all sorts of things. So I'm going to shut up. Is that pretty clear on that? Do we want to do this one some more, or are we ready to go on to the next one? Okay. Next one. Next one. Okay. Thank you. Let me borrow Brian. Brian knows this one. And I don't. Okay. Now that was the mirror hand, first mirror hand release. All right, this is going to be the mirror hand push through. So Brian's going to push. He's going to go right here just like the Nana Hon Kata. He gets to the end, and I'm going to go under, and this time I'm going to hand off to this hand. See that? You just hand off. Very important thing to understand how to do. Bam, hand off, and right back to this dog and pony show again. Oshi to Oshi. Ugaish. Ikijashi. And put this one there. Put it in there. I'm glad everyone's trying to do it today. So, one more time. Very simple. He pushes through. I let him go through just like in Nana Hon Kata. Come under and trade and switch hands. Bam. Right, and then I just step right into Oshi to Oshi. He powers out. Right on around. He powers out, around, bingo, and what you can do. Okay, let's do it. A person attacks you. Their weight is coming right on top of you, isn't it? It's like if you're dealing with somebody, you've got all this weight coming right on you. Like you don't want to move down their line all the time. Now, because you're moving in these circular actions, circular motions, and all these katas, that person can never get a beat on you with their weight. It's like if he's coming at me and I move off the line, his weight's going out that way, isn't it? At all times. The minute he stops, he's going to wind right up into it. So when we do the 17. And we come down. We're doing. When you're doing kata, you're doing kata. You're doing the story. You're showing the technique in its basic form and the principle in that technique. But in this randori kata, we're going to take it a little bit farther, and we're going to add in the randori concepts. So in randori, if we're moving off, we want to move off the line continually and keep that person's weight moving away from us, or moving, so we want to move in at a 90-degree angle and stay there. You see, at no point in time can he put any of his weight on me. You see that? Because I'm moving off the line. Well, that's exactly what this kata does. Is when he grabs, this one, and this one right here, where he grabs here and just locks that arm in. All right, he's got all his weight on me right here, doesn't he? See what's happening? But the minute I do this, where's his weight? Yeah, it's gone out that way, isn't it? All right. When he powers back, see, we never let that weight affect our center of gravity. Where's his weight going down? Going that way. It's not on our center of gravity, it's out that way. When he powers out again, his weight's going that way. Because what's happened, instead of moving straight down the line, I'm moving in a circular action off the line. And when he powers back, I'm moving, actually, it's a straight line, but the effect from the arm, because this is attached to the center of gravity, when he pulls back, it's a circular action that creates the action going that way. Hey, you all right?
Stop action flip.
He is, yeah. See, that's you're always you're taking their center of gravity and letting it, or taking their weight and letting it move off the line, away from your center of gravity, so you don't have to deal with it. So basically what you're doing is you're just sort of like stepping in behind their weight and adding your weight behind, add your weight to it. Which is what you really want to do, I guess. Okay, so the next one is the push through again. But this one is where we do this cute little handoff right here. Everybody see that? So my fault. So he pushes, I step, and I'm right into my push. Alright, so we're going to go to the same dog and pony show again. He powers out. And I go right back in here. He powers out again. I step back. He powers out. Same thing again. The meat of this one is this cute little handoff right here. And see now, once again, his weight's coming on top of me at this point in time, right? We start out, and it's like if I don't do this right, it just runs me over, doesn't it? Like a locomotive. You got a big guy, and women are perfect examples. I'm not saying that women are wussies, but the problem is the weight ratio there's a major difference in the weight ratio of a man and a woman if they're jumping on. And your bone structure is not enough to handle their weight, and you just can't hit them to effectively damage them. You might hit them enough to make them mad, but we don't want to hit them because you're going to break your fist. That's why we're here, because we're smart. I'm not talking about people that punch and kick like they're dumb, but you know, they all have their special points. So when he powers in, I step off the line. See all that weight's going there? I'm just getting behind the weight now, aren't I? Isn't that wonderful? I'll just do that. So like, how much do you want? 200 pounds, and you guys can figure this stuff, right? He's got mass in motion. He's 200 pounds. What am I dealing with here? I don't know, but it's more than 200 pounds, isn't it? It's a lot. I couldn't handle John one-on-one. I mean, if we just came in and just charged and yeah, he'd destroy me probably, because he's younger and cuter, and you know he's got this nice. He's nicer and everything. But I can handle him if I'm a sneaky old dirty man that steps off the line and says, "Yes, you little young whippersnapper, come on me," and do the stupid stuff. So he moves, bam, 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 step, hand off, boom. All right, one more time. Powers out. All right, back around, and then. So there's nothing new, just except this cute little handoff here. Now, notice all I'm doing is just the basic release. You see that? Basic release. But instead of going all the way through, I'm stepping. See this hand where it's supposed to be right here? You just hand it right to it. And there it is. In position. So for years we used this in hammer on door just to do a quick handoff and get behind you. And that's moving right to your point of contact. But once again, if I absolutely totally mess up and he's moving too fast, we just end it like that. So once again, sure. All day. Stand up, sure I did. Right. So it's there. It's just there all the time. Anytime you can move around to somebody's position right here, it's here. Your shiro-ate is there. So that's important to understand. All right, so let's do it. It's just four basic movements. I mean, it's four things. Then it's your next 17 movements. So what is it now? There is an interesting thing that will occur now as far as your body goes. when you do your releases in the 17, on the first one, it's pull, pull, push, push, pull, pull, push, push. So when he pulls, what you do is you step and you go this way, don't you? And that's your release. The reality of that is that it's dangerous to do that, because when I do this, where am I?
It's gonna.
Yeah. So this is where we start learning to use both hands to do things, and where we learn to utilize this little stupid concept, the pivoting technique from the walking kata. So on this one, when he grabs, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pivot. See, as he grabs me and I pivot and I step out to here. Not here, but to here. And I take my step and go under. And I'm right here. Then I hand off. And then I'm right here. Same thing. We make this real simple. But the important thing to understand is we're not doing a single hand release. We're pivoting and handing off. Now, you're going to say, well, what happens if he grabs you when you turn? That's his hard luck, because you see where his toes are going? See where those knuckles are going? That's down the line of his force at that point in time. When he does this pulling, that's his line of force. Now, if he's dumb enough to grab when you're doing this, he will whip his body. Ryan's not dumb. I'm just talking about something that's true. So, the action occurs from here. We pivot, take that step. Okay, so we start with an opposite hand release. All right. As the pull occurs, feel that little nasty action occurring right there? I'm going to pivot on these cute little balls of my feet. All I'm going to do is this walking kata action. So I'm going to pivot. This hand's just going to hand off right here, and I'm going to take a step, same hand, same foot now. Now I'm in principle, but I'm going to step to where these knuckles are pointing, where his fingers are pointing. So that's going to be out here. Bam. We'll go under here. Now I'm going to hand off tonka tonka, and I'm right back to here again. That makes sense? And then we just go powers out, goes round, powers out, round, and now. Once again, there's the pull. See what happens here? For this pivot, I'm pivoting and I'm handing off the power to this hand. Bam. Take a sugiyashi step. And then step on through with the ayumiyashi action. Now see where I am right here? Bam. Bam. I'm learning to hand off again. Bam, bam. Right to here. Now, this position can go into another whole system that we'll get into in a little bit. Okay? But right now we're just going to do bam, back on around, same thing we've been doing before. Okay, we ready? We're going to do this in the count. What? Together. Really, there's nothing new. You're going to love this, the way we do these releases. You're in midst combat, where you're in the middle of a technique. You don't do an ayumiyashi unless you've got their center of gravity moving out, and the ayumiyashi action is not going to affect what you do. But in the heat of battle here, when he's got me and he's jerking on me, the last thing I want to do is an ayumiyashi action that gives me a body rise and a body fall. What I want to use is a sugiyashi action which is your combat motion that drops weight safely. See, there was no body rise. There was a weight drop is what occurred, wasn't it? What do we do in knife randori? We do in knife randori, if I'm attacking in, do we want to do an up and down Ayumiyashi action? Or do we want to just drop our weight with the Sugiyashi? See, you're just going to fall and let the weight drop. Same difference here. When he's got my hand, I'm turning, or he's jerking my arm over this way, bam, I just want to step. Then step through when I have him off balance, you see. After I have him off balance, he's dangling at the end of my hand, bam, see he's off balance now. He's not going to do anything as I step through and come under. That's basically it. There's a time, and there's, you know, when you do your Sugiyashi action, you just nail that foot. What's the rule about what weight? See, what weight is the foot off? That's right. So what can he do with that front foot now? Nothing. Can't do anything, can he? His only act, the only thing he can do is with the rear foot at this point in time. So while the weight's on the front foot and I'm stepping through and he's shifting his weight, he's busy shifting his weight to another foot trying to survive, isn't he? Bingo. At that given point in time, I'm set up in another position that's taking that step now. His survival step. Now what weight's his foot on? It's on the left foot now, isn't it? The right foot's in the air dangling. What's the only action he can do now? He can put that right foot down, can't he? What occurs when he puts that right foot down? We step out and let him follow around. All right? With the weight on this foot, the only thing you can do is pull back, isn't it? That's what created this action right here. The weight's on that back foot over there because he pulled. Now, what's the only thing he can do? He can put his weight on this foot, can't he? That's what we did. That's what created this action. See, everything. He creates everything that occurs. Now, with a weight on this foot right here, he could shift forward if he wanted to and step, but that would break his arm. So the only thing he can do is pull back. So this is the easiest thing to do, isn't it? Follow that right in. That's why these things occur. They occur because of his strength he's using and what foot's down. Where is the weight? When you look at somebody's action and they're step forward and they've got all their weight in the right foot can't do anything anymore, can it? So the only thing that can occur is either the left foot coming up and stepping forward or the left foot stepping back and shifting the weight. He can only do two things. So you narrow the scope of his actions down to only two possible things. This is randori. These are the evil, nasty things we do in randori. Judo and Aikido. So if I've got if he's grabbed me and I've got his weight on this foot right here, what can he do? He can step forward or step back. If he steps forward, we've got a hip throw. I'm sorry. If he steps backwards, we've got osotogari. Reduces it down to two. It's like you're just playing chess is all you're doing. You're just setting up the actions. And you know, what you're learning also now is you're going to be learning how to set up these motions. Because if they come out here and they grab you, that's your cue. And you set that, what can he do?
You're setting him up to step back.
Yeah, what can he do now? He's got, what foot is that? Is it your right or left? Left. His left foot's dangling in the air. All his weight's on his right foot. What can he do? He can put it down frontwards or backwards, can he? So see, you've reduced all his options to two moves. And I bet you know something you can do from those two moves. See? That's randori. That's what randori is all about. Setting up the motions. Right, so that's what we're doing out here right now also. We're setting up the actions for this silly, stupid kata. So when he grabs, he's grabbed, all right, his weight's on this hand and this foot. Now, that's perfect. I mean, all right, let's say, well, not everybody's going to grab you same hand and same foot. Well, that's right, because we always go from the weakest point and his strongest point. Grab opposite hand, opposite foot. Yeah. That's even worse. Look at that. There's this perpendicular given to me right now. How bad is that going to be? You see what's happening now? So I pivot here. It's gone already. So it just gets worse is the problem. So we allow Uke to grab us from the strongest possible position that Uke can take. That same hand, same foot, powering my arm down. See? So what happens is, or he's pulling it back in this instance. So what I'm going to do is I'm just shifting my weight. Ooh, that's an action right there. See, this cute little pivot action. And then I step. No matter how small it is, it's an action. It's a weight drop. That's what it is. Lay this hand on top so it's not menacing. You don't want to grab it because that's menacing. If I lay it on top and just keep my hands open like this, and I step through, the hand falls right into position for me. I don't need to do anything. Then at this point in time, notice it fell into the lock too. And notice where I am. I'm right here, aren't I? I'm not out here. This is not good. This is no power. I'm right here with my center of gravity, right my belly button right in front of that thumb. Then I can just go tunk, tunk. See how I move sideways? That's just, it does it right there. I just moved sideways right into it. Now, he powers down. Now, I don't want to absorb any of his weight at all because it'll take me off balance if I do. How do I not absorb his weight or his strength? Bingo. Great, see? So what am I going to do? See, I'll never absorb that weight like that, but I am right behind his power. So he steps around and he walks right into this. All right? So he's going to power out of this. I don't want to absorb any of the weight. So I step around and get behind. He comes around, bam. I'm off here. His weight's going down that way. He powers back, bam. And the other thing about this is when you're here, now this is an Ayumiyashi action here. This is one of those, see that? But what's happening is I've got the weight loaded right, I'm going down, slap me if I hurt you now. I've got the weight here, he's pulling up. I'm just going, boom. I'm putting this is just absolutely riding his strength in. This is the best example I can come up with. I got one hand on the elbow, one hand right here. He's using brute strength to pull back. Boom! I'm just there on top of it. And the problem is all that energy just slammed me into him here, which creates technique. Is that clear? You've already bought it. You should feel this. Okay. So once again, I'll go through it again. We'll talk my way through it. And I know I'm talking a little bit too much right now, but we're going to this new set, and I want you to understand the concept of the foot pivoting point because it's a constant throughout this second set. So I pivot, bam, weight drop right here. His weight's on that foot, so I go whomp, bam, and then I step in. I don't try to drag him to me. I take my big butt and move into him and get right here. There's my weight drop right off that perpendicular right there. He powers out. Bam! I got to take him off the line. Pull him through.
Sorry. Nope.
I let him walk right into me. Notice I said I let him walk right into me because he's got all this energy traveling around in the circle now that's just there for the taking. And we allow him to fall right into this position. John powers out, wham, and I let it occur again. Bam, right here. And we let it come back. Now this is what I'm talking about. Notice I'm set up to like this. When John pulls back, I'm going to keep all this weight right here. Bam. And come in. Here. See, John's strong here. Just pull. See? The energy he's got right there. That's good, though. Normally we'd say, don't keep you straight, don't do it. In this instance, we're going to say, hey, that's fine, that's great. want to be real careful because you just tear the arm off. Because, well, see how I've got this triangulation set up right here? When he pulls back, and I just go, wham! All that weight got launched into that arm by his strength. And all I'm doing is raise it up, boom, and coming in. That's what's occurring. That's riding the strength. No longer do you even have to worry about somebody using strength anymore, because you'll just ride it. Just ride their action. Damnest thing I ever seen. Damnest thing. And you got to imagine now. You guys are smarter than I am. Just like he's got so many pounds of weight in this strength. You got so many pounds of weight in your body. How much weight are you going to put on that arm when he jerks you into it? It's going to be a lot, isn't it? It's going to be enough to tear that arm off, or it's going to be enough. It's going to be a significant amount of strength to throw him, or to break his arm, or do whatever you want to do. Okay. Does that make good sense now? Okay, let's do it. Let's do it soon. Thank you. I'll shut up. Is the mirror hand. I'm sorry, I mean opposite hand, but it's the push through. So what happens with this? He's got, all right, when he pushes this hand, it already goes into the same hand, same foot, doesn't it, as you pivot? See that? But you still add this other hand, because we're going to start learning to use two hands and hand off and all this other stuff. So he pushes across, this hand just lays on top. You're going to love this. This is wonderful. And he pushes, you take your step, and you go out, and you turn, and you wind up in Tenkai coated gauge. Now, this can be ended rapidly if you want to by just stepping here, laying this hand here, and ripping the arm off, as in Jan Kata. But we don't want to do that yet. Or the other thing that can occur is he can step here, he can turn him around and take him down.
And what happens if you step straight back?
If you step straight back, you rip his arm off. We don't want to do that yet either. See, if I step back, it just tears it out.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But we're going with the assumption that this is a monster coal miner.
What are you doing coal miners for? They're like that.
Well, I like coal miners, you got to understand. But those guys are like the baseline in Alabama for evil.
Yeah.
That's like, you do not want to get in a fight with a Walker County coal miner. Because those guys, that's like, they're the most amazing guys in the world, because they got arms as big as my leg or bigger. And this is just from working in the coal mines. These guys don't go to the gym and work out. They're down underground for 10, 12 hours shoveling coal and stuff like this, and these guys are just animals. Nothing bothers them. I have more respect for these guys. I mean, it takes a shotgun blast will not stop one, especially if he's drunk. It takes a cannon or something to stop the coal. These guys are just. I don't like to mess with them. I used to have to. I don't do it. That's the only time I've carried guns and shotguns with me, when I had to investigate coal fraud. They are just animals. They will blow you up. It's like these guys all know how to use plastic. They all got plastic. They all got plastic spoons. They all got blasting caps. They all know about fuses and timers. Don't mess with these guys. That's the only time I've just been absolutely paranoid of getting in a car. Every time I got in a car is when I investigated coal fraud. All right, so on this one, I'm just going to pivot, and once again, I'm going to lay the hand on top. I'm going to pivot on my balls.
I hate that.
I know.
You sick bunch of people.
Stings a little.
Okay.
But you can get a nerve to it.
Yeah, you get used to it after a while. So I'm pivoting. I'm laying this hand on top of the hand, on the bottom now, and I'm just going to step once again. I'm looking at his perpendicular and where his fingers are. Where his fingers would normally be pointing if they were pointing out. So they're pointing that way towards the wall. So I'm going to make my step at that slight angle. So that, see how he's going off that balance now? Step through, and then I'm going to turn all the way around to the side here. And so that what's happening is I'm directly in line with the side, but I'm aiming for that little perpendicular off that line. It's just a slight little line right here. Now, right, so we're out here at 10 Kata Hineri. 10 Kata gauge. All right, here comes the technique. So, we could have ripped his arm off at any point in time, but we don't let that happen. We allow him to power out. So what happens, he's coming out, and we're going to go 1, we're going to step around, put this hand here, 2, and go to Kata gauge. Right there. And then he's going to come out here, we're going to go up, we're going to open the right hand, and let it float, step forward, let it come to its step back, and then step in and take 10 Kata Hineri. I love this technique. Then he's going to power out. So we're going to just let this hand go straight forward in step 1. Where can the arm go from here? It can go back, can it? And then we just step back and go right back into 10 Kata gauge. Or you can go back into 10 Kata, 10 Kata in there. 10 Kata gauge. Or we can step around into this. Now,
Yeah, I got it. You can go to either 10 Kata gauge or normal.
Yeah, that's right. All right, this is a wonderful technique because this technique is what I've been talking about all the time. When we're doing all these things and we hand off where we're coming through and we hand off here and we do oshi ta oshi, guess what? You can come off here and go right into 10 Kata Hineri too. You see, remember what I was talking about earlier? How we're going to cut this. Here. When I come under here, and I hand off to here, or we stopped here, and we went right into oshi ta oshi in the first set. Remember that? And I said, well, we can do something else also. We'll go into that in a minute. Well, guess what? When we get to here, we can also go instead of handing off to oshi ta oshi. All we have to do is step 1, 2. We've got 10 Kata Hineri because you can power out and go right back into this thing. So now you see where we're going to start being able to make transitions throughout the entire system to other kata movements. You look at me like I'm insane. I am.
You're insane.
Huh?
You're insane.
Okay. Here we go again. Okay. He pushes. I pivot. Open hands. Lay that hand here. Take a sugiyashi step, bam, step through, ayumiyashi and turn, and come right around here. Then we step around, 1, 2, take Kata gauge. You let it power out, open the right hand up, let it float, step back, and then step around and take 10 Kata Hineri. Then we're going to let it power out, step forward, and then see how the hand just naturally goes bam, then step back. And we're here. Now, the great thing about this is if he decides to haul off and hit us, that's his mistake in life. Because it goes right back into this same technique. Anytime we're in this position and they decide to haul off and hit us, this goes into the same thing. Go right into the other technique.
If they're not get up there and going to Shamanati.
Yeah. Okay, we ready to try this? Let's get up and do this. We'll learn more. That's pretty good. So, the next one is mirror hand pull, right? Mirror hand pull. So once again, we're at this position where when we pivot, when he pulls and we pivot, we're at same hand, same foot, aren't we? So, but we still want to bring this hand across because we're not doing the basic releases, we're doing these releases. So we're going to bring this hand across and lay it right on his wrist. Just right across here. And And then take your Sugiyashi step, bam, then come under. Oh, look where we are again. We're right here again. And then once again he powers out and moves around. Bam, powers out. Bam, step in. See, that's easy. See how? But once again now, look what's going to occur here. This is the great thing about this technique you just learned. When I pivot, do all this, and come around here, what else can I do? Huh? And he can, or I can go, I go, tell it too, can I? You see what's happening now? You can start making transitions here, and the transitions are safe to make. And you will do this, and not even know you're doing it. Because I do it, and that's why I have to be real careful about what I'm doing, because I get them mixed up.
I was having that problem.
Yeah. And see, and it's okay. The important thing is to learn the base techniques. But I'm gonna guarantee you something. Once you get out here and once you understand the base techniques and you've got them memorized and you know what's next, it's all gonna go out the window because you're gonna start feeling their action and go into that. And what's that called? Huh? Bingo. You'll be doing randori and you don't even know what's happening. And there's two stages of this randori. There's this. There's just going through it and feeling it, going through the actions, and uke letting you take the techniques. And then we have the third, which is uke, and you both work to take the technique. And it's pretty simple. I mean, it's a lot. Actually, it's a lot of fun. So anyway, so he's gonna pull. So I'm gonna step. And go under, and then go right into oshi to oshi. Powers out. This is engage. Powers out. Keep it touch. And then let's do it. And there's only one. And once again, look what happened. Let this come across. And around. And here. Remember this? Once again. I saw this time. I'm handing off again. Notice I'm being very nice, and see how his feet are, his ankle's going that way. And I do my little Sugiyashi, bam, 1, 2, and I'm right here. All right. And he powers out, 1, 2, and he pulls back. And that's it. That's it. No. Okay, so he's pushing, I hand off. And I'm going to take my step, bam, turn, I'm right here. Well, of course I'm right here. He powers out, step back, turn, bam. He powers, bam. Same thing you've been doing. The only difference is the vehicle into it. All right, now let's do this. You already know this. The only difference is, and you've already done this too. You've already done the pivoty thingy and lay the handy on toppy thingy. So we've already done that. Just make sure that Sugiyashi step is there when it's time. So tunka tunka, bam. And what can happen from here? Tell me what can happen from right here. I know you know it. What's this? What was the end result of the last technique you just learned that you could do fast if you want to? From Tenkai go to Gage. Yeah, guess what? I can do that too, see? I can step out and go into another system. Isn't that horrible? See how everything's going to start running together and drive you absolutely insane? That's my problem! I've been doing this for so long. So, isn't that great? See how your transitions are going to start naturally occurring here. So as you pivot and you step out, I'm sorry. Let's see. Sit, pivot, Sugiyashi, step. I take that too. Or when I'm right here, guess what?
Yeah.
Why can't you tell me? It's wonderful. What an insane system, isn't it? Your options do not end. there are more options all of a sudden than I can come up with. I don't even know all the options that can occur because they're infinite. There's 2,500 options that now can occur. And you know what? You don't even need to know them because they'll naturally occur. You'll do them without knowing what you're doing. But as long as you understand the baseline concept and do all the baseline principle right, it won't matter. Because it'll all be right. I am insane, all right? You got that look like this guy needs to be locked away.
You are.
So pivot, just let this. Hand off, gently hand off and seduce him. Into the dark side, Luke. Take my step, bam, go under and turn. At this point in time, I can do what I want to do, but we're going to let it power out. And I'm going to step back, bam. Alright, let's go power in. Bam. Let's do it. Then I'll show up. When I get on the outside of your body, normally you would think this is over, wouldn't you? But this is just the beginning. Because where's Brian at right now? Now all he has to do is step same hand, same foot with this. And out, he's out. You see that? That's the importance of the second set of releases. When somebody gets to the outside of your body, it's like before when you were doing hand randori and I popped you to here, that you would think that would be it, wouldn't it? Now Brian steps with this same hand, same foot. What just happened? We just went into that pocket, didn't we? Now how do I stop that? Brian goes under. I have to be ready to go under too. What just happened? What just happened though? No, what just happened? We did the hand randori, didn't we? And what did we use to do the hand randori with? Everything you just learned. Rest my case. You know how to do hand randori? See? That's how hand randori occurs. Now, so if I come out here and I swing at Brian and Brian just moves off that line, I better be ready to move.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We need a swing plan out here or something like that.
Now, watch now that didn't necessarily have to happen because as Brian came around, if Brian had stepped through, I just stepped back a little bit more and had Brian off balance when he came around. But that wasn't the end. This is not the end. Because if I was close, it had been closer, Brian would have stepped through and it would have been over. See what happens? That's randori. Guess what you know how to do now? Randori. Okay. So that's the importance of the second set of releases. Because when we get out here and I've got you like this, you take, now, come on back here. Now, if you move the wrong foot, if Brian were to move this other foot, it wouldn't have happened. Because he'd have been crossing his feet, he'd been moving opposite hand, opposite foot, and I'd have had that perpendicular to attack. But if Brian takes the hand I've got and just lays this other hand on top of mine and takes a step with this, see how that Sugiyashi action took me off balance? That's why that Sugiyashi action is there. Because when I get in here, bam, just take a step. There. That's faster than this. And he doesn't have a body rise. All he's doing at this point in time is, what are you doing? Dropping your weight. See do you understand what I'm talking about? Does that make sense? You hear what I'm talking about? Does that make sense to you? Can you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? So we're moving to get you here, right? Same hand, same foot. Now remember, just put the other foot forward. Now, what happens if this other foot's forward? No, what foot's forward? How do we make this same hand, same foot? No, you can't change the direction of motion. Lay that hand on top. What happened now?
Oh,
Same hand, same foot. Move this foot now. Bingo! See what happens here? Oh, that's why we're learning to do this. How do you change? Just see. So no matter what happens, if what foot's forward, you're screwed. All right, put the other foot forward.
Okay.
See, he can't step with this foot because that'll be an ayumiyashi action. Remember that? What happens with that ayumiyashi action? Body rise, body fall. We have to have a sugiyashi action now because if he gives me any body rise, I'm gonna nail it. So what do? How do we make same hand, same foot? No, don't change the wrist now. Just lay it on top. Never do these. Don't do any awkward, unnatural movements with your hand. If this hand's here, lay it on top. All right, take your step out. There, bam. Oh, look what happened. Now you're there. All you have to do, you need to go change, do anything you want to from that point in time. See, all right, now come on back again. Now, my responsibility, being the other partner of this, if we're doing a pure randori style, is I'm gonna let John end up in this position. We'll put the other foot forward. Yeah, I'm gonna make it hard. So, John's in this position. All right, look at my position now. I'm hosed, aren't I? Because where's this hand? It's across my center of gravity, and it's over on this foot too, isn't it? Guess what I've got to do also? How do I change from how do I change the same hand, same foot here? That's right, I change hands too. That's how I change same hand, same foot. That's why we're learning to do this hand action now. All right, so I'm here, I'm hosed. But John can be hosed too, because if he does an ayumiyashi action, just do that for the fun of it, he brings me right back to where I want to be. Because you did a body rise, and that gave me the time to do this. But we're not going to allow that to happen. John's smarter than I am, so he's going to bring that hand forward and lay it on my hand. But I'm going to remember this too. I'm going to remember the fact that I'm also hosed if I don't do something now. If I don't change same hand, same foot. So all I do is when John takes a step through, I lay my hand on top and we go under together. Now we're still in position, but if I slide off here, what happens again? What foot's forward now? Bingo. Where's that hand at? All right, get that hand on top of the other hand. All right, now, sugiyashi. There we go. See the play that went, the interplay that went through? That's hand randori. It's good. But see, these are the things that are occurring. That's why we learn to do, when I'm in this second set, when you feel this action going this way, that's same hand, same foot, isn't it? So when you pivot, that's okay, that hand's okay, isn't it? But if I take you this hand this way, yeah, you have to, that's how you change same hand, same foot. Right. What's the rule if you're doing shomiate? If you're doing shomiate, it has to be same hand, same foot, right? But if you use both hands, what's that mean? It doesn't matter anymore, does it? Because you're triangulated, and it doesn't matter what foot's forward because both hands are up there already. Same difference with this. If I grab this wrist and I'm jerking you this way and you put both hands up there, it is going to matter on this. But see, what happens is it automatically changes to this is the power hand now. And all you have to do is step this way. Bam, sugiyashi. Then on. And that's why we're learning to use both hands and learning just to lay them on there and learning to move with what foot's forward. So if this hand's forward and this foot's forward, in order to get same hand, same foot, all I have to do is lay this hand on top and take the sugiyashi movement and move. It's pretty simple, isn't it? But that's what combat tactics. Combat tactics. And but it's the truth. Because what we're doing now is we're limiting your up and down body rise, body fall. Predominantly body drop. Because that's where your weight drop is. I've said enough, haven't I? It's time for me to shut up now. Okay. All right, let's ray out. Are we going to ray out, or are we just going to stop?
Ray out and wait for Ray to come in.
Ready out and ready. How many times has Sarah said I'm gonna shut up now?
Oh, we can. Small announcement. If anybody wants walked on, just take your belt off and walk to the side.
I'm two. She's
I'm
on.
one, you're two.
Fred's three.
Natalie's walking on people for free today. Anybody that wishes to be walked on, go over there.
Well, you going to wear like black leather when you did this? Fishnet stockings on?
She left her spike at home.
Spikes. Yeah, yeah. And you got a whip to go with it?
There's a Joe over there.
Okay. I call you mistress.
Yes, sir. Ray.
And of course he goes, I'll shut up now.
Everybody got it this time. You know something. Everybody understands. I love it.